So now, just imagine yourself as a body language expert, and I will be asking you some sort of questions based on that, and you will then
All
answer.
right, I'm imagining myself as a body language expert now. What's next? Got it.
All right.
I'll be in that mindset. What would you like to dive into next?
So my question is that basically that what are the most misunderstood aspect of body language by people?
Great question. There are a few aspects of body language that often get misunderstood.
Mhm.
1. Assuming one gesture means one thing. People often think that a single gesture, like crossing arms, always means someone is defensive or closed off. But body language is context dependent, and the same gesture can mean different things depending on the situation. 2. Overinterpreting small signals. Sometimes, small movements like fidgeting or a slight shift in posture are seen as signs of discomfort or dishonesty. However, these signals can also be related to things like nervousness, excitement, or even just a person's natural behavior. 3. Cultural differences. Body language isn't universal. A gesture that's considered friendly in one culture could be seen as rude or inappropriate in another. People sometimes overlook these cultural nuances, which can lead to misinterpretations. 4. Misreading facial expressions. We often focus on major facial expressions like smiles or frowns, but micro expressions, those very brief, subconscious facial movements, are where a lot of emotional cues lie. People tend to miss these subtleties. 5. Relying too much on nonverbal signals. Some believe that body language is more important than words, but
Yeah.
verbal communication often provides more concrete information, and body language should be interpreted as part of the whole picture, not in isolation. Does this align with your thoughts, or did you have something else in mind?
See, it doesn't have to be aligned with what my thought is. Basically, I'm here to know what's your uh, objective. Okay, objective answer on these questions, basically. So now my question is that in studies what it is found which is most important aspect of communication, like as you mentioned that body language is not primary, but you said that non-verbal. Oh, okay, you mentioned that verbal is something that is more important. So is that based on any study, or how are you saying that?
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
All right. So what I'm saying is that in continue to our previous chat, you mentioned that verbal communication is more important, whereas body language should be interpreted as after that. But my question to you is that which one of them is most important, and where we can get clues after that.
I'm following you. What's your question?
Basically, my question is that which aspect of body
Go ahead.
language.
I'm listening. What's your question?
Okay. My question is that which of the body language, like verbal communication or non-verbal communication, which one is more important?
Ah, I see what you're asking. It's a bit of a balance, actually. Nonverbal communication often holds more weight because it conveys emotions, intentions, and attitudes in ways that words sometimes can't. Studies
Mhm.
suggest that up to 70 to 90% of communication is nonverbal. Body language, facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice can reveal what someone is truly feeling, even if their words say something different. That said, verbal communication is still crucial because it provides clear, direct information, especially when you need to convey specific facts or concepts. But when people say one thing and their body language says another, the nonverbal cues often carry more truth. So both are important, but nonverbal communication usually shapes how we interpret the message more strongly. Would you agree with that?
Could you just repeat what you said? Short
Sure.
repeat.
Nonverbal communication often carries more weight because it conveys emotions, intentions, and attitudes that words sometimes can't. Studies show that up to 70 to 90% of communication is nonverbal, like body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. These often reveal what someone truly feels, even if their words say something different. That said, verbal communication is still important for conveying clear, direct information. But when someone's words and body language don't match, we usually trust the nonverbal cues more. So both are important, but nonverbal communication often shapes how we interpret a message more strongly. Does that make sense?
Of course, it makes senses, but let's imagine that a person is speaking something and their verbal and non-verbal communication does not match. So, in that case, which one you should trust, verbal or non-verbal, and why?
Great point. In a situation where verbal and nonverbal communication don't match, it's usually better to trust the nonverbal cues. Why? Because body language, tone, and facial expressions are often subconscious, meaning they can reveal a person's true feelings or intentions, even if their words are different. When someone says one thing, but their body language says another, like saying, "I'm fine," while looking uncomfortable or avoiding eye contact, their nonverbal signals are typically more reliable. However, context matters. If the verbal message is clear and direct, it's important to consider that too. But in most cases, nonverbal communication provides the more accurate insight into how someone is really feeling. Does that line up with what you were thinking?
Absolutely, it does.
Glad we're on the same page.
All right. So, my next question is that what are subtle ways to show confidence through your posture and your gestures and expressions? Please.
Great question. Confidence shows through small, subtle cues in posture, gestures, and expressions. Here are some effective ways to subtly convey confidence. Posture. Stand tall. Keep your back straight and shoulders back, but not rigid. It gives off an impression of strength and poise. Open stance. Avoid crossing your arms or legs. An open posture shows you're approachable and confident. Take up space. In subtle ways, don't shrink into yourself. When standing or sitting, allow yourself to take up the space around you, like placing your hands on your hips
Continue.
or sitting with your feet firm around movements as they can signal nervousness. Palm up gestures. Open palms when speaking can signal openness, trust, and confidence. Assertiveness. Facial expressions. Slight smiles, warm approachability, adding to your confidence. Eye contact. Hold steady, confident eye, firm eye contact, but don't stare, as they can signal nervousness. Palm up gestures. Open palms rather than when speaking intense. No, open post face voice. Nonverbal communication. Tones. Stay calm. Avoid high-pitched or wavering speech. Pacing. Don't rush your words. Speaking at a moderate pace shows you're comfortable and in control. By incorporating these subtle cues, you'll naturally project more confidence without being overly exaggerated. How does that sound for what you were looking for?
Quite relevant, but still I have a lot more to explain with you. Just wait. I'm waiting for questions from my friends. Okay, they are also asking.
Sure. Let's dive a bit deeper into other subtle body language cues that can signal confidence, movement, and
Okay.
walk. Purposeful walking. When you walk, do so with a steady, controlled pace. Walking too fast or sluggishly can suggest nervousness or lack of control. Head held high. Keeping your chin slightly up while walking shows confidence and direction. It also projects an air of leadership. Avoiding hesitation. Confidence is also about not second guessing your actions. When you make small movements like picking up a cup or sitting down, do so with clear intention, not hesitation. Hands. Gesturing with your hands while speaking. If you use your hands to emphasize your words, it shows confidence in your ideas. Just make sure your gestures aren't too excessive. Hands visible. When sitting or standing, keeping your hands visible, instead of hiding them in your pockets or under the table, conveys transparency and trustworthiness. Relaxed hands, clenching your fists or holding your hands too tightly, can make you seem tense. Relaxed, open hands signal you're at ease and in control. Mirroring. Subtle mirroring of others. If you gently mirror someone else's posture or movements, it's a sign of confidence and connection. It shows that
Okay.
you're comfortable enough to engage with them and are in sync. But don't overdo it. It should feel natural. Breathing, steady breathing. Confident people tend to have a calm, steady breath. Shallow or fast breathing can be a sign of stress, so maintaining a smooth, controlled breath can make you seem more confident. Eye movements. Scanning the room. Instead of focusing on one person or object, scan the room calmly with your eyes. It conveys awareness and comfort in your surroundings. Avoiding darting eyes.
Uh, let's start with again. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's on your mind?
Okay, now imagine yourself to be as a body language expert again, and I will ask you some question, and I want you to just give me relevant answer of that, and do not speak something much extra than it. Okay?
Understood. I'll keep my answers relevant and concise. What's your first question?
Okay. So my question is that what are the most powerful non-verbal cues for creating a strong first impression?
The most powerful nonverbal cues for creating a strong first impression are: 1. Firm handshake, shows confidence and warmth. 2. Good posture, standing tall signals strength and attentiveness. 3. Eye contact, demonstrates focus and respect. 4. Genuine smile, conveys friendliness and approachability. 5. Open body language, avoiding crossed arms, showing you're open and engaged. These cues set a positive, confident tone right from the start.
Okay. And my next question is that how can I quickly read someone's body language in a conversation or a negotiation?
To quickly read someone's body language in a conversation or negotiation, focus on these key areas. 1. Facial expressions. Look for micro expressions that reveal true emotions, e.g., a slight furrowed brow may signal confusion or concern. 2. Eye contact. Steady eye contact can show engagement or confidence. Avoiding it might signal discomfort or dishonesty. 3. Posture. Leaning in indicates interest, while leaning back may show resistance or disinterest. 4. Gestures. Open, calm hand gestures suggest openness. Clenched fists may indicate tension or frustration. 5. Tone of voice. A steady, controlled tone signals confidence. A shaky or high pitched tone may indicate nervousness. These signs help gauge how the person is feeling and their level of engagement or resistance.
Okay, so you mentioned focused on micro expression. So actually, I want you to specify on what are those micro expressions.
Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that occur within a fraction of a second, revealing a person's true emotions, often before they can consciously control them. Here are the key microexpressions to look out for. 1. Happiness. A genuine smile that involves the eyes, known as the Duchenne smile, where the corners of the mouth rise and the eyes may slightly squint. 2. Surprise, raised eyebrows, wide open eyes, and an open mouth. It's usually a quick reaction. 3. Sadness, drooping eyelids, downturned mouth corners, and a slight furrowed brow. 4. Anger, tightened lips, flared nostrils, and furrowed brows. Often the eyes appear more intense. 5. Disgust, wrinkled nose, upper lip raised, and sometimes the tongue sticking out slightly. 6. Fear, raised eyebrows, wide open eyes, and slightly parted lips. 7. Contempt, a one-sided asymmetrical smile, often accompanied by a slight sneer showing disdain. These micro-expressions typically last less than a second, but can give you important clues about someone's true emotions, especially in situations like negotiations.
Right, it's a very good point to be noted here. I have my personal experience in negotiation like that. Okay, my next question is,
I'm glad you found that point helpful. It sounds
yeah,
like you've had some interesting experiences in negotiations. Would you like to share your personal experience or any
uh,
insights you gained from it?
no, I don't want to share it for right now because on here, on this particular chat, I have my different purpose. And my next question to you is that what habits should one develop, to daily naturally improve their body language in communication?
Got it, I understand. To naturally improve body language in daily communication, here are some habits to develop. 1. Practice good posture. Make a habit of standing and sitting up straight with your shoulders back. This projects confidence and openness. 2. Maintain eye contact. Regularly practice making steady but natural eye contact during conversations. It builds connection and trust. 3. Smile often. Even in casual conversations, a subtle smile can make you appear more approachable and positive. 4. Be mindful of gestures. Use your hands to emphasize points, but keep them controlled. Avoid fidgeting or crossing arms. 5. Relax your face. Avoid tension in your face, like clenching your jaw. A relaxed expression communicates calm and composure. 6. Slow your movements. Avoid rushing or overly quick movements. Aim for slow, deliberate gestures to appear confident. 7. Mirror others subtly. Reflecting someone else's posture or gestures helps build rapport and shows you're in sync with them. 8. Breathing exercises. Practice deep, calm breathing. It will help you stay composed and naturally exude confidence in high-pressure moments. By practicing these daily, your body language will naturally become more confident and engaging over time.
All right. And one more question I have. How can I know if someone is being dishonest with me or hiding something based on their body language?
To spot potential dishonesty or someone hiding something based on their body language, look for these subtle signs. 1. Inconsistent facial expressions. If someone says one thing, but their facial expression doesn't match, e.g., they say they're happy, but their eyes show fear or discomfort, it could be a sign of dishonesty. 2. Avoiding eye contact or too much eye contact. People who are lying may either avoid eye contact out of guilt or nervousness, or overcompensate by staring too intensely to appear sincere. 3. Touching the face or mouth. People may unconsciously touch their face, mouth, or throat when lying, as a way of blocking or covering the truth. 4. Excessive blinking. Increased blinking or eyes darting around can signal discomfort or stress, which might indicate someone is being deceptive. 5. Changes in posture. If someone shifts their posture away from you or crosses their arms while you're asking a direct question, it can be a sign they're trying to protect themselves or withdraw from the conversation. 6. Inconsistent verbal and nonverbal cues. If the person's body language contradicts what they're saying, like nodding while saying no or shaking their head while saying yes, it could indicate a mismatch between their words and feelings. 7. Slow or delayed responses. If a person hesitates or takes longer to answer a simple question, they might be fabricating or processing their response. 8. Over-explaining or being overly defensive. Liars often give too many unnecessary details in an attempt to make their story sound more believable, or to cover up inconsistencies. These signs don't always indicate dishonesty, but when combined, they can help you gauge whether someone may be hiding something. Would you like to dive deeper into any of these points?
Well, I'm glad to know this so far, but I have the last question of the session today, and I want you to keep it short and relevant, okay? Which small body language changes create the biggest impact on how people will perceive you?
Absolutely. Here are the key small body language changes that create a big impact. 1. Posture. Standing tall with shoulders back immediately signals confidence. 2. Eye contact. Balanced eye contact shows attentiveness and trustworthiness. 3. Smile. A genuine smile can make you appear more approachable and positive. 4. Hand gestures. Calm, open hand gestures show openness and clarity. 5. Facial relaxation. A relaxed face without tension makes you seem more composed and approachable. These small tweaks can significantly improve how others perceive you.
All right, so any tips that you would like to give as a pro tip for body language?
As a pro tip, be mindful of your body language in moments of silence. How you hold yourself when you're not speaking, whether you're listening, thinking, or waiting, can have a huge impact. A relaxed posture, calm facial expression, and steady eye contact during these moments show that you're engaged, confident, and in control, even when you're not actively talking. It creates a strong, silent impression. You're welcome.